Sunday, 12:45, Chelsea welcome Leicester to Stamford Bridge in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We are now just one game away from Wembley once again, and if we can get there, who knows what could happen. Here to help me talk about the game, break it down, and to give our starting lineup picks is my good friend and channel fan favourite, Josh Aveste. Josh, what's happening, mate? Fresh off the back of your boy doing the business last night,
I haven't slept. I've been up all night just looking at pictures of him, just thinking about him, just thinking about that touch. I've been making a lot of editing because I've been like doing those compilations of him next to Hazard and like just sort of looking at how similar they are. And I actually think Mudryk might be better.
Ballpark, over or under? How many times have you watched that goal back? Have you watched it over 25?
Yeah, over 25. In terms of how many times
over
naked.
125?
In terms of how many times naked, over 100.
Over 100.
Yeah,
Easy. Got to be done. Some momentum going into this match for once, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, without putting a downer on the video already, some of the time when we have momentum going into matches, that's the time when I'm a bit like, oh God, a little bit nervous about this one. Not too sure about this one. Am I right to be nervous, or do you think we're just going to absolutely smash the Foxes to pieces?
I mean, it's obviously the latter, isn't it? We're just going to smash them to pieces.
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Who cares about history?
Why not?
Who cares about what's happening the rest of the season? We're just going to do him.
Tell you what. We have got some bad memories against Leicester of recent when you look at that cup final. Was it the cup final or Community Shield? No, it was a cup final, wasn't it? Yeah, it was, yeah. So that was a poor showing at Wembley. Luckily, this one's at Stamford Bridge and we don't lose there much. What do you think of, before we get into Chelsea and we talk about our chances, what do you think of Leicester? They were looking at one point like they were going to be on course to be almost record breakers in the Championship, weren't they? And I worried for them when they went down, you know. I thought it's going to be hard for them to sort of bounce straight back. Sometimes there can be such a hangover when you're a big club that goes down. You know, Leeds when they went down, other former Premier League winners when they went down, like Blackburn Rovers, and, you know, took years to come back up. But Leicester seemed to have hit the ground running, slowed off ever so slightly recently. You see Leeds sort of catching up with them now.
The form's not been great. It's 3 losses in the last 5, mate.
Really?
In the league, yeah, it's not good.
Not great, not great.
But they are at the top, and they're at the top for a reason, because they're probably the best squads in the league, I'd say. They're probably the highest spenders in the league.
They'll have the highest wage bill, surely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. But the interesting thing, mate, is do they want to get back into the Premier League?
Why would they not want to?
You might be thinking, what the fuck is he talking about? Mate, when they come back into the Premier League, they're going to get a massive points deduction.
Why?
They've overspent in the PSR. They've overspent. They're going to be like an Everton or a Forest.
Would it not be more beneficial for them to get back into the Premier League off the back of that then? Because the extra TV revenue funds and stuff.
Well, but that was for the last accountancy period. So, i.e. last season. So they're only going to be punished when they get back into the Premier League.
When you say massive points deduction, how massive is massive? Because to be honest, Leicester, if it was 10 points like Everton, I'd still imagine they're just about to stay up.
Really?
Leicester,
I mean, even if it's 6.
Leicester, like, they're a Premier League side for me. And listen, depending on whether it's come out or not, because of the length of the conversation, I don't think it will have come out. If you are a Leicester fan and you've tuned into my channel today, myself, Josh, Brian the True Geordie, Jacob and Craig did an absolute belter of a video that's going to be coming out off the kickoff soon. And we discussed Leicester in quite a lot of detail. Why don't you tell them what the video was about?
The video was all about, originally it was going to be building the dream Premier League. So picking 20 teams. But what it morphed into was
We've all got ADHD, no concentration span, so we only picked 10.
Just went to 10.
Yeah.
So we just went for the top 10 and the top 10 Premier League clubs of all time. So actually, when you think about it, there's a few debates in there. So like, for example, are Leicester a bigger club than a team like Villa? Like that was the conversations that we were having.
Well, I won't spoiler it, but let's just say there was a heated debate between the table and Craig over whether Leicester are a better Premier League side than Spurs. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, because it is an absolute banger of a video. But getting back onto Leicester, we've took away their best player, haven't we? So job done, Cassidy. Yeah. A lot of people, right, were saying to me, oh, you know, you see what happens when you bring Cassidy on again. We bring him on again and we can see the goal because it had happened before. I can't remember what match it happened in now, but bring him on again and we can see the goal straight away. And it's like, mate, Cassidy, he's getting brought on for like 5 minutes here and there. Let me tell you, I've watched this boy. And I get that some people are saying, oh, we wasn't getting into the Leicester team. And Casaday's a player, man.
He looks really good.
I think he is.
He looks really, really good. And look, under-20s football, he's absolutely ripped it apart. And under-21s football, he just looks like he's a level above. He looks like a bigger bloke, let alone just like actual ability of a player. Just looks bigger, stronger, faster than all of those other boys. I like having him in the squad. What I worry about is whether he's going to be in the squad next season. I have a feeling that he probably won't be.
Do you think he'd probably go out on loan, but this time maybe to a Premier League club?
Whatever it is, mate, I just hope it's a stable club that play him often, because we've been burned so many times with loans
So
this
not
season.
Forest.
Yeah, like never
And
give
not
any
Newcastle.
Forest. Yeah, never Forest, never Newcastle again. I mean, arguably Leicester, they didn't really play him that often, but they're challenging at the top of the Championship. There's more on the line for them, so I can understand why they were sort of rotating him in and out. But I have to say, the moments that I saw of Castagne playing for them, he looked absolutely brilliant. He scored some good goals for them as well.
Yeah. I think he's a really good player. I like Castagne. Speaking of players, we've swapped in the past. You said earlier that we won on the league.
We did.
When we beat Tottenham.
And
then they went and won us the league by giving us N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
So
and we gave them one of the best central defenders of all time.
Robert Hoof.
Legends. He actually invented the term hoof.
I was at Stamford Bridge once when I was a young kid. It was a cup match, I think. Robert Hoof, the ball breaks from a corner. He put his foot through it and nearly broke the crossbar in half. Absolute mountain of a man.
I actually really liked him as a backup centre backs go. He was a good one.
We used to take the piss out of him a lot, didn't we? Like when we were kids and he was at Chelsea, and we used to shout Hoof and whatever. And went on to have a very good career, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was all right. I thought he was a good player.
Won a league title. Probably what?
Absolutely.
12 seasons of Premier League football underneath him, if you include his time at Stoke, Chelsea. It's not bad. It's not bad. But anyway, enough about Robert Hoof. Let's get on to Chelsea. Let's start off, right? In fact, you know what I'm going to do? We're gonna recreate the old style of our videos today. I'm just going to get your starting lineup for for this one, because I'm going to drop a video later in the week, because there's not much content going out for me to cover, so I might as well stretch another video out of it. But let's have an almost a premature one. Let's have your starting lineup to face Leicester.
So we know that there's going to be about 18 injuries before we, drop this video. So just bear that in mind. Take the team sheet with a pinch of salt. But
do you think we actually will get more injuries?
I think we probably will. Yeah.
You know what I was seeing the other day? Yeah. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Christian Pulisic have literally not picked up any injuries since they've been in Milan.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek would have been out for half the season if he'd been playing in the Premier League.
So
just call it now.
Like, but is it the Premier League or is it Chelsea?
It's the Premier League. Look at the Premier League injury list. It's more than every other league.
Yeah.
It's that simple, mate. I would love to have had Ruben Loftus-Cheek back, though. I would love to have kept him.
Yeah,
he's such a good player. Should he be in the English squad?
And as well, mate, like when you look at Ruben Loftus-Cheek and you look at some of our little frailties, like I was saying on last night's video that I put out, one of the reasons like we can be reluctant a little bit to go long from goal kicks at the moment is because we've got no height on the flanks and we've got no height in the middle. Now, a lot of teams don't have any height on the flanks, and the wingers aren't really in the modern game jumping up to win headers and whatnot. But in the middle, so someone like a Ruben Loftus-Cheek, even to an extent, I very much understand why Casadei gets brought on later in the matches. And I think that it's probably foolish to do this because we've done it already with Nkunku. But I think you can guess the way I'm going with this. I'm hanging a lot of hope on Romeo Lavia, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he should be an unbelievable player. Let's hope he comes back and he's fit.
When do you reckon he'll come back? This season?
I think it'll be next season. Fuck, just give him a break. Like if he's not 100% fit and he's had a recurrence of an injury, let's just let him get fit. This is how I feel about Reece. Like,
Reece, I was about to say Reece is back on grass.
He is, mate. But let's keep him away from the
team.
Not
the old wacky backy.
I mean, he could be.
He could be. He could be. And maybe for rehabilitation purposes, it might be a good thing.
Yeah. Let's just avoid the doping controls.
Who's to judge? Who's to judge?
I've got one for you, mate. Hot take. Is Loftus-Cheek better than Gallagher? Right now. I'm going to say it. I think he might be.
Really?
Look what he's doing.
Gallagher's playing out his skin.
Look what he's doing in Milan.
But you just made a case in point, didn't you? Why is the reason you get more injuries in the Premier League?
Because it's just 100 miles an hour.
Because it's Gallagher, better. No, because it's better.
It is better. Right? Yeah. Fair enough. So you disagree?
I mean, Onana was great in Serie A, mate.
Yeah.
Nah, Loftus-Cheek's great lad. Great lad.
Does he get in the England squad?
if we was having like a balanced argument, we could definitely put a case forward, but it's not balanced because we just know how Southgate does it.
Yeah.
So probably not, but you know.
That might be a mad take. I'm interested to see what the guys think in the comments.
Yeah, Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Conor Gallagher. Yeah. Who would you be starting if you could only put one in the lineup? Speaking of lineups, let's get on to yours.
Let's get into it. Yeah, I've kept you too long, mate. I'm sorry about that. Petrovic in goal.
Can I give you a little worry here? I think Robert Sanchez will come back in because I think Pochettino wants to do this. Oh, I've got a league goalkeeper and I've got a cup goalkeeper. Just start Petrovic, no?
I would prefer that, mate. In my team, he would be in there. But if I was a betting man, I'd be betting on Sanchez to start this game. I really would. I don't think it's the right decision. I really don't. I think you've got to persist, get some continuity with the back four. We keep saying it, mate. Did you know this, by the way? In the last 10 games or so, we've only had the same back two centre-backs playing once.
Mental. Absolutely mental. But our hand is forced.
Yeah,
so
true. We've had a lot of injuries.
I can pretty much tell you where you're going with your back line. You're going to keep it as it was last night. So read it out to me. Or are you not? You're not going to keep it,
I'm not at all. I'm actually going to rip it up.
Wow.
I just think...
Why?
I just think we've got Cucurella, who has just come back from a serious injury.
Can I just remember, we've not got a match now. We've got, 6 days until this game, right? And then we've not got a match for God knows how long, international duty, and not all of them will be going away.
100%. But Cucurella, serious injury. That was an intense game that we played, the other day. So
done well though. I like Cucurella. I know he had a mistake in that game, but do you know what? I do think like a feeling of safeness is something I never thought I'd feel with Cucurella, and now I do.
I was thinking about this on the way here, mate. I have a feeling that very soon you're going to be saying that Chilwell should be sold and not Cucurella. Because Cucurella, there's a lot of rumours, mate, saying he's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
What? And
the summer,
if you could get one out and keep one,
yeah, I think right now, if I'm
what's the best ability?
Availability.
I mean, it doesn't really bode well. We've just had Cooker out for like 3 months, but you know how it is. Ventura misses a lot of games, man.
I mean, to be honest with you, the best ability for me is kind of like ability.
Ability's good.
Yeah.
Ability is good, but availability's great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'd rather they'd be good.
I never miss a game.
No, you don't, and that's why you never play for Chelsea.
Exactly. Go on, let's have your back line.
So Gusto on the right. I'm going to persist with him. I think he can deal with the pressure of the amount of games, and he's young enough to deal with it. Disasi, I think, plays. By the way, he's our most capped player of the entire season. I don't think he's missed any of the games.
Hasn't been unavailable for one game through injury.
There you go. Just shows you everything you need to know about him. Fair enough. Then I'm going to slap Thiago Silva.
I thought you might.
Here.
Yeah.
And then I've gone for Chalobah on the left, but they could swap. Gusto and him could swap because I just don't think they're going to risk Cucurella. So that's what I'm going to go for my back line.
So Chalobah left back. Have we seen that from Chalobah before?
Mate, Chalobah can play wherever he wants. He's a quality player, and
he
quite
just
frankly,
does whatever he wants.
Quite frankly, he's been raised in Cobham. He knows what he's doing. He'll be fine.
Yep.
I trust him more than I trust Gilchrist. A lot of people were shouting the other day about Gilchrist should be starting more games. I don't know how Gilchrist has jumped up the pecking order above an academy graduate who has played a lot of Premier League football.
Just from the coming back from injury thing, though, innit? Really?
I don't care. I'm sorry. Right now, on paper, Trev is better than Gilchrist, and that's nothing against Gilchrist.
Yeah, no, like Trev's more important to us than Gilchrist as well. I'm not even sure that Gilchrist is a fullback. I think he's a centre back.
He's a centre back.
Yeah.
He is a centre back. He's played the centre back his whole youth career.
Yeah,
he's not a wing back at all. He's just doing a good job there.
We're very stretched in terms of being able to field anyone that different in the pivot.
Well, Enzo is suspended, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh.
I think Enzo is suspended, so I don't think Enzo can play.
And Casaday's cup tied.
Casaday's cup ties, yeah. So basically, your pivot picks itself. It's Caicedo and Gallagher.
Yep.
So stick with those boys, and let me know if I'm wrong in the comments that Enzo is suspended, but I'm pretty sure he is. And then I'm going to go in front of them in the number 10. I'm going to go Carney.
I would love to put Carney in there. I think that we've seen him come off the bench a couple of times now, and I just think this boy's ceiling is so high. I really do think he's got real potential, Carney Chukwuemeka. So I'd love to see him in there, and I do think as well, like, I don't want to call Leicester a lower level, but let's face it, they are a second division team. And I think against someone like a Leicester, Carney Chukwuemeka could really be looking to rip it up in this game. I'd love to see him from the start. And I think, providing you manage his minutes well, we should be able to see him from the start as well. So definitely up for that one.
Yeah, good game for him to come back, I think. I'd really like to see him in the team sheet as well. So that's why I've slapped him right in. Then I've gone for Noni on the right. I haven't seen a lot of him recently, have we?
No, we haven't seen Noni, no.
Which is a weird one, because when he plays all right. He looks good.
He always plays all right. Does he do enough for me to go, right, he needs to be in the lineup for the next game? Yeah, I think sometimes what we loved when we see something from a player that we don't normally see from the rest of them, and because of his ability to run at men, which even your boy Mykhailo Mudryk, right, he's got the pace, but in terms of actually neat footwork, it doesn't sound great coming off the back of last night's game when he did manage to do it, but consistently per game, he doesn't constantly try and do it, and I feel like Madueke does try and do that, so that's why you always think of Madueke, you're giving me saying here, and I like it.
The way you disparage Mykhailo Mudryk there, you just need to just eat your words, mate. You know you're wrong. Just stop trying to back up your arguments. It's a joke. So I'm going to go for Noni. But I have to say, mate, I've got another wild one for you. I think that Noni will be sold permanently in the summer.
Really?
Yeah, I think they might try and cash in on Noni. What I'm thinking
Premier League side or
I don't actually know. It could be abroad. He's played abroad, hasn't he? I could see it going that way. Basically, what I'm thinking is we're going to have to raise a lot of money. And also, I think we're going to look to sign someone in the right wing area. And also, we've got Angelo coming back. And Angelo looks fantastic. I think he'll be in the squads.
I've not really seen any of Angelo. How's he doing?
Well, basically, the stats aren't amazing. And he hasn't started, like a significant portion of the games. But when he is playing, he just looks like he takes people on. He's doing the smarter things. He looks very technical. He's cutting in on that left foot. It looks silky. I think he'll be in and around the squad next season. So, interesting one for Madueke. Don't know what's going to happen, but that's just my prediction. I'm looking in my crystal ball. Next to Madueke, I'm going to go for Jackson up top.
Nice.
Just keep it going, eh?
Keep him in there. As long as he keeps kicking it in the fucking goal hole, keep him in there.
Kick it in the goal hole, Jackson.
Yep.
I want him getting as many goals as possible, and I want him trying to beat that Drogba record in the Premier League. Obviously, this is an FA Cup game, but let's keep the consistency.
Let's not get bogged down with details. Don't worry, it all counts. They all count.
It's all goals.
And I don't think there's going to be any prizes for guessing the left.
No, this is actually quite a predictable one, because obviously what I'm doing is I'm putting Sterling there. Obviously, fuck off, Sterling. You're not anywhere near the fucking squad. Piss right off. Leave in the summer. You're not coming back. It's that simple, Jerry. Mudryk is on the left. Mudryk.
Passion.
Don't know if you've heard of this guy.
Man he is.
I don't know if you've heard about this guy.
Mykhailo Mudryk. Yeah. Little blonde Dragon Ball Z looking kid, isn't he?
Oh, rest in peace. The creator of Dragon Ball Z died recently. Yeah. Oh. Great show.
Well,
great show.
Actually, when a character in Dragon Ball Z died, all you had to do was get how many Dragon Balls was there?
I don't know, mate. You know better than me. I don't know. Tell me. 8.
Oh,
is it right?
It's close.
It's right.
7. Pretty sure there was 7 Dragon Balls. You get them all, you round them up, you can bring someone back from the dead.
Mate, I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z since I was about 7. So
I was obsessed.
The knowledge that you have in there is brilliant.
No, I haven't watched it in that long either, but I was obsessed. I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan, man.
Right, comment section, pick one. Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. You can only have one.
Nah, Yu-Gi-Oh was dog shit. Pokemon was good. Yu-Gi-Oh was rubbish, mate. Pokemon was good. I remember the Pokemon movie when Ash dies, and I was like, and Pikachu's going, Pika! He's crying and whatever. I'm like, oh, she's fucking getting on in here.
So what are you saying? Are you saying Pokemon or are you saying Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball is a bit cooler.
You going Dragon Ball of Pokemon?
It's a little bit cooler.
Mate, the comments are going to rip you apart.
What Pokemon would you say you're most like?
Squirtle.
Squirtle? Really? Yeah, when Mudryk walks in, you are.
Who would you say you're most like?
I'm pretty tough. I'm pretty like Ox.
You're a golem.
Not a gun. No!
You're a Geodude. You're just a little body with 2 strong hands.
Yeah, I am, yeah. What was the thing? Oxlade? Not Oxlade. What was the thing?
Onyx.
You're
not a snake, mate. Yeah. You're not a fucking rock snake.
The rock thing.
Yeah, but he's a snake. He's a rock snake.
He's a fucking tough snake. He's good.
You are 100% a Geodude. That's fucking sold me.
What were we talking about? Chelsea, wasn't it? Yeah. So Mudryk on the left. That's a nice team sheet there. Yeah. I like that.
You're not going to change that. Keep that graphic for your own team sheet, mate. Sold.
To be honest, let me have a little look. No, so I did have something different to that. Okay. I'm gonna drop it later on. So you've left Palmer out there.
I think you need to rest him. I think you need to rest him. Let's look after Cole. Imagine if he got injured.
Mate, if he got injured, we'd be fucked.
We would be fucked.
We would really be in a bad position then.
I think you've got to look to rotate slightly here. I know what you're saying about international breaks coming up. This is also a key game. So part of me is going rest because we're in the FA Cup or we're Chelsea. That's what we do. But then there's obviously a part of it where you're in a new world and you can't rotate, and maybe we have to keep on playing these players.
What did Jose say the other night?
Tell me.
Chelsea is not the Chelsea we used to know.
100%.
Something like that. I don't know. He'd probably been drinking.
He'd come back. He'd come back in a fucking heartbeat.
He would, wouldn't he?
He would be back so fast if he could come back to Chelsea. He would love it as well. And I reckon he'd calm down as well. I don't think he'd be as much of a
what's your thoughts on Pochettino now? I know you've always said, like, you know, we should be giving him till the end of the season type thing. As things changed after last night, do you think the performance against Newcastle comes down to some great coaching from Pochettino, or do you just think, you know, enough young players every now and again is hit and miss, and last night we hit?
What I'm trying to do is less of like, when we lose, I'm Poch out, and when we win, I'm Poch in. What I'm more trying to do is kind of be like, I don't think Poch has had the best hand in the world. I think he's had a lot of injuries. I think he's had the young squad. He's had to piece together a team out of basically nothing. And I think he's had to try and improve young players, which is notoriously difficult in the Premier League. I think he's had a really difficult job. I think a lot of other managers would have also failed, potentially done worse. Some might have done slightly better, but there's a variance there that you don't know. And I actually think I would just back him, and I would put everything we can around him, about the fan base, give him some support. There's no guarantee he'll be there in the summer. If I was doing it, if we don't finish any higher than 8th based on the position that we are right now, and have this good cup run, so if we got knocked out now and we finish below 8th, then I would sack him in the summer. I wouldn't do it until then.
Very fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. The problem is there's a lot of big clubs that are going to be looking for managers, and the pool of what we can attract. And it's not just that, it's like the time it will take to get a manager in, because it's such a moving market that it's the domino effect, isn't it? Like, one manager goes somewhere and then everyone else starts moving. And I feel like when you're trying to get someone in, like, mate, I almost feel like there was that this summer with Pochettino, you know. Pochettino took a long time to accept the job, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was obvious why, because he had Soccer Aid on and he had to do Soccer Aid. But it took a long time. It's a big gig. It is a big gig. Yeah. But it took a long time to accept the job. And I think that the reason he took that sort of amount of time was obviously he needed to be convinced by the project of Todd Bowley and convinced there was method behind the madness. But I also think he understood it was a moving picture and he was looking at other things. You know, there was a little bit of uncertainty of whether Ancelotti was going to stay at Real Madrid. You know, there were things going on, different factors in the background. So I think that if he wasn't to stay, you know, it might not be as straightforward as we're anticipating. But we're backing him now. I know I've said, you know, I was pretty much done with Pochettino. Can change quick. I'm not going to say off the back of one win against Newcastle I'm buzzing, I think it's all rosy, and everything I say is null and void. But, you know, mate, I'm not gonna carry on beating a drum that, you know, if we're winning games, doesn't need to be beaten.
I think, to be fair to you though, mate, you always said this. You said, I'm not ecstatic that he's there, but I'm not ecstatic for him to just be chucked out the door.
Yeah, I wasn't making videos saying he's got to go tonight.
Yeah. So that's with us, mate. I think it's just this simple. It's like, we know that there aren't really any other like amazing options that are going to come in, accept the job, and also the board want. So you might as well just have some continuity, mate. The one thing that Chelsea Football Club needs more than anything right now is just some stable times. Yeah. We've had so much instability in the last few years. Having a manager that's there for at least a couple of years. Bear in mind, the contract could be done at the end of next season anyway. So like, and then we don't have to pay another manager off, sack another load of staff. Maybe it's a case where he gets to the end of next season and still isn't that good, and we go, right, brilliant, thank you very much, Poch, you've set us through this really difficult period, and now we go and get the next level of manager, and we put on and we take some time with it. So I hope the club do things in a more measured way, is what I'm saying.
Can we get a score prediction for Sunday's match against Leicester?
This is a whole one. Early kickoff. It is at home. They are a championship team. I'm going to go 3-1.
I think that off the back of last night, it's hard to say we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think we'll win. I'm going to go 2-1 win for Chelsea in that one. Yeah.
In normal time.
In normal time, definitely. We're not going extra time. Can't be bothered. The boys want the rest of the weekend off. People, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Score predictions, starting lineup predictions. I will be reading all of your comments. I'll try and get back to as many of you as I possibly can. Do me a massive favour, but more importantly, do yourself a massive favour. Head over to Josh's channel. It is linked in the description to this video. Subscribe so you can see all of his content coming out, and I will see you all in the next one.